The galactic stage. The year was 2157, and humanity had just taken its first tentative steps onto the galactic stage. It had been only 3 decades since the discovery of faster-than-light travel, and Earth's nations had united under the banner of the United Earth Government to present a unified front to the cosmos. As Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the UES Pathfinder, she couldn't help but feel a mixture of pride and trepidation. The Pathfinder, Earth's most advanced exploration vessel, had been invited to dock at the massive space station known as the Galactic Conclave. It was humanity's first official introduction to the wider galactic community, and Elena knew the weight of her species' future rested on her shoulders. As the Pathfinder approached the station, Elena marveled at its size and complexity. The structure was a masterpiece of alien engineering, a sprawling metropolis suspended in the void. Ships of various designs and sizes swarmed around it like bees around a hive. "Captain, we're receiving docking instructions," her communications officer, Lieutenant Kai Chen, reported. Elena nodded. "Take us in, helmsman." Nice and easy. As the Pathfinder glided into its assigned berth, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, not just by the curious aliens visible through the viewports, but by unseen eyes, judging and assessing Earth's potential. The docking procedure complete, Elena led her diplomatic team through the airlock. They were greeted by a delegation of aliens, each more bizarre than the last. At the forefront stood a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin and 4 arms. "Welcome to the Galactic Conclave," the alien said, its voice a melodious trill. "I am Ambassador Zixlith of the Aetherian Collective. We are pleased to formally welcome humanity to the galactic community." Elena bowed slightly. "Thank you, Ambassador. I'm Captain Elena Rodriguez of the United Earth Government. We're honored to be here." As they were led through the station's winding corridors, Elena couldn't help but notice the sideways glances and whispered conversations among the alien diplomats. She caught fragments of translated speech from her earpiece. "So primitive. Barely left their solar system. Do they even understand basic quantum mechanics?" Elena gritted her teeth but maintained her diplomatic smile. She'd expected some condescension, but the reality was more grating than she'd anticipated. The tour culminated in a vast chamber where representatives from dozens of alien species were gathered. As Elena and her team were introduced, she could feel the collective dismissal from the assembled dignitaries. An avian creature with brilliant plumage addressed the gathering. "We welcome our new friends from Earth," it said, the pause before friends unmistakable. "While we applaud their achievement in reaching us, we must remember that they are newcomers to the galactic stage. They will require guidance and supervision as they learn to navigate interstellar politics and trade." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Elena felt her face flush with anger, but before she could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. A holographic display flickered to life in the center of the room, showing a region of space at the edge of known territory. A swarm of unidentified ships was pouring through what appeared to be a massive wormhole. "Impossible," gasped a tentacled being near Elena. The Void Horde was supposed to be contained for another millennium. Chaos erupted in the chamber as diplomats shouted questions and demands. Elena watched in stunned silence as reports of attacks on outlying colonies began to flood in. Ambassador Zixlith turned to Elena, fear evident in its multifaceted eyes. "Captain Rodriguez, I'm afraid your introduction to galactic politics will have to wait. We are facing a threat that could destroy us all." As the gravity of the situation sank in, Elena realized that humanity's position in the galaxy had just become far more complicated than anyone could have imagined. The dismissive attitudes of moments ago were forgotten in the face of impending doom. Little did the alien races know, but this crisis would be the catalyst for revealing humanity's true potential, and the secret they'd been keeping since they first looked to the stars. The Hidden Fleet. The Galactic Conclave was in chaos. Reports of the Void Horde's attacks flooded in from all corners of known space, overwhelming the assembled diplomats. Captain Elena Rodriguez watched as the alien representatives argued and panicked, their earlier condescension towards humanity forgotten in the face of impending doom. Amidst the cacophony, Elena's communicator buzzed. She discreetly checked the message and her eyes widened. It was time. "Ambassador Zixlith," Elena called out, her voice cutting through the noise. The Aetherian turned all four of its eyes towards her. "I believe Earth may be able to offer assistance in this crisis." The chamber fell silent, all attention suddenly on the human captain. Zixlith tilted its head curiously. "Captain Rodriguez, while we appreciate the offer, I'm not sure how your limited technology could help against the Void Horde." Elena smiled, a glint of determination in her eyes. "What if I told you that humanity has been preparing for this moment for over a century?" She tapped her communicator, and a holographic display flickered to life in the center of the chamber. It showed a massive space station orbiting Jupiter, previously hidden from all detection. "This is Bastion," Elena explained as gasps and murmurs rippled through the alien delegates. "It's the command center for Earth's defense fleet." The hologram zoomed out, revealing hundreds of ships emerging from hiding spots throughout the solar system. They were sleek, angular vessels that looked far more advanced than anything the aliens had seen from Earth before. "Impossible," breathed a reptilian diplomat. "Your species couldn't have developed this technology so quickly." Elena's smile widened. "We've had help. For the past 100 years, we've been in secret contact with a group of alien refugees. They warned us about the Void Horde and helped us prepare." The hologram changed to show the interior of one of the ships. Alien technology seamlessly integrated with human ingenuity, creating systems that even the most advanced races in the conclave couldn't fully comprehend. "Ladies, gentlemen, and others," Elena addressed the stunned audience, "I present to you the Soul Defense Force, a fleet of over 500 ships, equipped with technology that combines the best of human creativity with advanced alien science." Ambassador Zixlith stepped forward, its iridescent skin shimmering with a mix of emotions. "Why keep this a secret? Why allow yourselves to be seen as primitive?" "Because we needed to be underestimated," Elena replied. "Our allies warned us that the Void Horde has spies everywhere. If we had revealed our true capabilities, we might have become a primary target before we were ready." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the station. A new hologram appeared, showing a Void Horde fleet approaching the conclave. "It seems we'll have a chance to prove ourselves sooner than expected," Elena said grimly. She turned to her team. "Contact Bastion. Tell them to send the Artemis battle group. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can do." Within moments, a shimmering portal opened near the station. 5 massive warships emerged, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly light. At their head was the flagship Artemis, a vessel that seemed to bend the very fabric of space around it. The alien diplomats watched in awe as the human ships engaged the Void Horde. Energy weapons lanced out, tearing through the enemy's defenses with ease. Swarms of fighter craft deployed, moving with impossible agility as they darted between the larger vessels. But it was the Artemis that truly showcased humanity's leap in technology. The flagship unleashed a weapon that created localized singularities, crushing entire squadrons of Void Horde ships into oblivion. In a matter of minutes, the battle was over. The Void Horde fleet was decimated, with only a few stragglers fleeing back through their wormhole. As the human ships took up defensive positions around the conclave station, Elena turned back to the assembled aliens. Their expressions ranged from shock to admiration, with more than a hint of fear. "Earth stands ready to join the fight against the Void Horde," she declared. "But we do so as equals, not as primitives to be guided or supervised. The galaxy is facing an existential threat, and it's time we all work together, combining our strengths and technologies to ensure our collective survival." Ambassador Zixlith stepped forward and bowed deeply to Elena. "Captain Rodriguez, on behalf of the Galactic Conclave, I formally apologize for our earlier dismissal of your species. It's clear we have much to learn from humanity." As murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber, Alina allowed herself a small smile. The first step had been taken. Now, the real challenge began, uniting a fractious galaxy against an implacable foe, with humanity leading the charge. Little did they know, the revelation of Earth's hidden fleet was just the beginning. The true extent of human ingenuity and determination was yet to be unleashed upon the stars. Rising tensions. In the weeks following the revelation of Earth's hidden fleet, the political landscape of the galaxy shifted dramatically. The Galactic Conclave, once dismissive of humanity, now grappled with the implications of this new power player in their midst. Captain Alina Rodriguez found herself thrust into the role of de facto ambassador, navigating the treacherous waters of interstellar diplomacy. The conclave chamber buzzed with activity as representatives from various species debated the next course of action against the Void Horde. Alina stood at the center, her posture resolute as she addressed the assembly. The Artemis Battle Group has successfully defended 3 more systems from Void Horde incursions, she reported. But we can't be everywhere at once. We need a coordinated strategy involving all our species if we're going to push them back. Ambassador Zixlith of the Aetherian Collective nodded in agreement, but others were less enthusiastic. Groznak, a hulking reptilian from the Saurian Imperium, growled in dissent. Why should we trust the humans with our military secrets? He demanded. They've already proven themselves masters of deception. How do we know they're not in league with the Void Horde, softening us up for conquest? Murmurs of both agreement and outrage rippled through the chamber. Alina felt her temper flare, but kept her cool. If we wanted to conquer you, Groznak, we wouldn't need the Void Horde's help. We've already demonstrated our technological superiority. The Saurian scales flushed with anger, but before he could retort, a new voice cut through the tension. Perhaps a demonstration is in order. All eyes turned to the speaker, a translucent, jellyfish-like being floating in a bubble of atmosphere. This was High Senevs Kexel of the Medusozoan Syndicate, known for their incredible computational abilities. The Tyranian Empire has lost contact with their colony in the Vega system. Kexel continued. They refuse to ask for help, but our projections show a 97.3% chance that it's a major Void Horde offensive. If the humans can save Vega, it would go a long way toward proving their commitment to galactic defense. Alina exchanged glances with her second-in-command, Commander Akira Tanaka. They both knew this was as much a test as it was a rescue mission. We accept, Alina declared. The Artemis Battle Group will depart for Vega immediately. As they left the chamber, Akira whispered, You know this is probably a trap, right? The Tyranians have never liked us. Alina nodded grimly. Probably. But it's a trap we have to spring if we want to gain the Conclave's trust. 12 hours later, the Artemis Battle Group dropped out of FTL on the outskirts of the Vega system. The scene that greeted them was one of devastation. The Void Horde had already begun their assault on the Tyranian colony world, their grotesque bioships swarming around a massive planetary defense station. Status report, Elena commanded as she strode onto the Artemis's bridge. It's worse than we thought, Captain, replied Lieutenant Yuki Chen, the sensor officer. The Void Horde fleet outnumbers us 5-1, and they've somehow disabled the planet's defense grid. The station is their last line of defense, but it's losing power fast. Elena's mind raced, analyzing the situation. A frontal assault would be suicide, but they couldn't afford to retreat. Then, an idea struck her. What if we could turn their numbers against them? She mused. Akira, remember that theoretical weapon Dr. Okoro was working on, the one that manipulates gravitic fields. Akira's eyes widened. The G-disruptor. But it's never been tested in combat. No time like the present. Elena grinned. Have Dr. Okoro bring it online. Yuki, I need you to plot a course that will take us through the heart of their fleet. Helm, prepare for extreme maneuvers. As the crew scrambled to execute her orders, Alina opened a channel to the rest of the battle group. All ships, this is Captain Rodriguez. We're about to attempt something that's never been done before. It's risky, but if it works, we'll save millions of lives. Trust in your training. Trust in your ships. And most importantly, trust in each other. Rodriguez out. The Artemis surged forward, its escorts falling into formation around it. As they approached the Void Horde fleet, the enemy ships turned to engage, their bioweapons charging. G disruptor at full power. Dr. Okoro's voice came over the comm. Ready on your mark, Captain. Elena waited until they were in the thick of the enemy formation. Now, a pulse of invisible energy radiated from the Artemis, warping the fabric of space-time around it. The effects were immediate and catastrophic for the Void Horde. Their ships, suddenly subject to conflicting gravitational forces, began to break apart. Some imploded, while others were torn to shreds by tidal forces. The human fleet carved a path of destruction through the enemy armada, emerging on the other side virtually unscathed. As they approached the defense station, the remaining Void Horde ships fled in disarray. Hours later, as the Artemis battle group oversaw evacuation efforts on the Tyranian colony, Elena received a transmission from the Galactic Conclave. It was Ambassador Zixlith. And for once, the Aetherian seemed at a loss for words. Captain Rodriguez, Zixlith finally managed. The Conclave has unanimously voted to appoint you as Supreme Commander of the Allied Galactic Defense Forces. It seems we have grossly underestimated not just your technology, but your tactical brilliance as well. As Elena absorbed this news, she realized that humanity's position in the galaxy had fundamentally changed. They were no longer outsiders to be dismissed or pitied. They were leaders, innovators, and the galaxy's best hope against the Void Horde. But with this new role came new challenges. Not everyone would welcome human leadership, and the Void Horde was sure to redouble their efforts. The real war, Elena knew, was just beginning. The invasion begins. The mood in the Strategic Command Center aboard the Artemis was tense. Supreme Commander Elena Rodriguez stood before a holographic display of the galaxy, red markers indicating Void Horde incursions blinking ominously across its expanse. What had begun as isolated attacks had evolved into a full-scale invasion. Status report, Elena demanded, her voice tight with concern. Commander Akira Tanaka stepped forward, his usually calm demeanor strained. It's not good, Elena. The Void Horde has launched simultaneous attacks on 17 systems across 3 sectors. They've adapted their tactics to counter the G disruptor technology. We're stretched thin trying to respond to all the distress calls. Elena's mind raced, analyzing the situation. The Void Horde's strategy was clear: divide and conquer. They were forcing the Allied Galactic Defense Forces to spread themselves too thin, unable to mount an effective defense anywhere. We need to change the game, Elena muttered, more to herself than anyone else. Then, louder, get me a direct line to the Galactic Conclave. It's time we bring the fight to them. Minutes later, the holographic faces of various alien leaders materialized around the command center. Ambassador Zixlith, High Synapse, Kixel, even the skeptical Groznak, all wore expressions of grave concern. Esteemed leaders, Elena began, her voice resonating with authority. The time for half measures is over. The Void Horde isn't just testing our defenses anymore. This is a full-scale invasion. We need to pool all our resources and launch a counteroffensive. And what do you propose, Supreme Commander? Groznak growled, his earlier skepticism tempered by the dire circumstances. Elena's eyes gleamed with determination. Operation Spearhead. We'll form an elite strike force, combining the best ships and crews from all our species. While our main fleets hold the line, this task force will punch through the Void Horde's defenses and take the fight directly to their staging area. The alien leaders exchanged glances, a mix of hope and trepidation on their faces. It was Zixlith who spoke first. It's bold, Commander. But how do you intend to find their staging area? We've never been able to trace their movements back to a single point of origin. A smile tugged at Elena's lips. That's where Earth's primitive technology comes in. Dr. Okoro, if you would. The holographic display shifted, showing a complex network of quantum-entangled particles. Dr. Adana Okoro, Earth's leading quantum physicist, stepped forward to explain. We've developed a method of tracking quantum fluctuations left behind by the Void Horde's wormhole technology, she said. By correlating these fluctuations across multiple systems, we can triangulate the location of their central hub. The alien leaders murmured in astonishment. Even in the face of invasion, human ingenuity had found a way to surprise them. I volunteer the Medusa Zone battle computers to assist in the calculations, High Seneps Kexel offered, their translucent form pulsing with excitement. The Saurian Imperium will contribute our strongest dreadnoughts to this Operation Spearhead, Groznak declared, any remaining doubt apparently erased. One by one, the other leaders pledged their support. As the meeting concluded, Alina felt a glimmer of hope. They had a plan, they had unity, and they had the element of surprise. Weeks of frantic preparation followed. The best ships and crews from across the galaxy assembled, forming a fleet unlike any seen before. At its heart was the Artemis, upgraded with technology from a dozen different species. As the fleet prepared to depart, Alina addressed the assembled crews, her words broadcast to every ship. Today, we embark on the most crucial mission in the history of our galaxy, she began, her voice steady and resolute. Each of you represents the best your species has to offer. Together, we will show the Void Horde that the races of this galaxy will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day. A roar of cheers erupted across the fleet, a unified voice of defiance against the encroaching darkness. The journey to the Void Horde's staging area was fraught with danger. They battled through ambushes and navigated treacherous space anomalies. But with each challenge, the diverse crew of Operation Spearhead grew more cohesive, more determined. Finally, they arrived at their destination. A massive space station unlike anything they had ever seen, suspended in the void between galaxies. It pulsed with dark energy, the source of the wormholes that had allowed the Void Horde to strike across vast distances. All ships, battle formations, Alina commanded, her heart pounding, but her voice unwavering. Remember your training. Trust in each other. Today, we fight not just for our individual worlds, but for the future of all sentient life. Weapons free. Engage at will. As the fleet surged forward to meet the Void Horde's home guard, Alina knew that the true test of humanity's leadership and the unity of the galaxy was about to begin. The fate of countless civilizations hung in the balance, and failure was not an option. The final battle for the galaxy had begun. Humanity's triumph. The void between galaxies erupted in a dazzling display of energy weapons and explosions as Operation Spearhead engaged the Void Horde's home guard. Supreme Commander Alina Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Artemis, her eyes fixed on the tactical display as she coordinated the most significant battle in galactic history. Saurian dreadnoughts, push forward and draw their fire, Alina commanded. Medusa Zoan ships, use your psychic shields to protect our flanks. Aetherian strike craft, prepare for attack run on their central power core. The combined fleet moved with a synchronicity that would have been impossible just months ago. Species that had once viewed each other with suspicion now fought side by side, their unique strengths complementing each other perfectly. As the battle raged, Dr. Adana Okoro approached Alina, her face grave. Commander, we've analyzed the energy readings from the Void Horde station. It's not just a staging area, it's a dimensional gateway. If they managed to fully activate it, they could bring through reinforcements from countless parallel universes. Alina's mind raced, considering the implications. Then we need to end this now. Akira, prep the G-disruptor for maximum output. We're going to collapse that gateway. Commander Tanaka's eyes widened. Alina, if we do that while we're this close. I know, Alina cut him off. But it's a risk we have to take. The fate of not just our galaxy, but countless others, hangs in the balance. As the Artemis moved into position, the rest of the fleet provided cover, drawing the bulk of the Void Horde's attention. Helena opened a channel to the entire Allied force. All ships, this is Supreme Commander Rodriguez. We've identified the Void Horde's endgame, a dimensional gateway that could overwhelm us with infinite reinforcements. We're going to shut it down, but the resulting spatial collapse could be unpredictable. Any ship that should retreat to minimum safe distance. To those who stay to cover us, it has been an honor serving with you all. Despite the warning, not a single ship broke formation. The message was clear. They were in this together, till the end. G disruptor at full power, Dr. Okoro reported. Ready on your mark, Commander. Helena took a deep breath, her hand hovering over the command interface. For Earth, for all our worlds, for the future of life itself. Fire. A massive pulse of gravitic energy erupted from the Artemis, far more powerful than anything they had generated before. It struck the Void Horde station dead center, the fabric of space-time warping and tearing around it. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a silent flash that seemed to dim the very stars, the station imploded. A shockwave of distorted space-time radiated outward, catching both Allied and Void Horde ships in its wake. The Artemis shuddered violently, alarms blaring throughout the ship. Hull breaches on decks 4 through 7. Akira shouted over the chaos. Weapons and shields are offline. Helena gripped her command chair, watching helplessly as the shockwave approached. Just before it hit, a shimmering barrier sprang up around the Artemis. Helena looked up to see a Medusa-zone ship positioning itself between them and the wave, its psychic shields extended to protect the human vessel. Similar scenes played out across the battlefield as ships from different species sacrificed themselves to protect their allies. It was a display of unity and sacrifice that would be remembered for generations to come. As the chaos subsided, Helena surveyed the aftermath. The Void Horde station was gone, along with a significant portion of their fleet. Those that remained seemed disorganized, their hive-mind connection evidently severed by the station's destruction. All ships, report status, Helena called out, her voice hoarse. One by one, the surviving ships checked in. They had suffered heavy losses, but they had won. The Void Horde's invasion was over. In the days that followed, as the Allied fleet limped home, news of their victory spread across the galaxy. Celebrations erupted on countless worlds, with the name humanity on every alien tongue. 1 month later, Helena stood before the galactic conclave once more. But this time, instead of skepticism or condescension, she was met with thunderous applause. Ambassador Zixlith approached her, all 4 of its arms extended in a gesture of deep respect. Supreme Commander Rodriguez, on behalf of all sentient life in our galaxy, we thank you and the human race. Your leadership, your technology, and your indomitable spirit have saved us all. Helena smiled, but shook her head. Thank you, Ambassador, but this victory belongs to all of us. Humanity may have provided the spark, but it was the combined strength of all our species that won the day. She turned to address the entire assembly. We've proven that together, we can overcome any threat. Let this victory mark the beginning of a new era, one of true cooperation and mutual respect among all our peoples. The chamber erupted in cheers of agreement. As Helena looked out over the sea of alien faces, former skeptics now allies and friends, she felt a profound sense of pride and hope. Humanity had not just proven its worth to the galaxy. It had ushered in a new age of interstellar unity. The future, with all its infinite possibilities, awaited them among the stars. As the applause continued, Helena allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. From underestimated newcomers to saviors of the galaxy, it had been quite a journey. And she knew that for humanity and its new allies, the greatest adventures were yet to come.